what they're now saying about gas vouchers for the low income and what they're considering instead. You'll certainly want to hear the details on this one, so let's get into it right away. But if you haven't done so yet, or if you're new here, make sure to subscribe by hitting that button right down below the video, as all of this information continues to change very, very rapidly right now. I'm doing all the research and I'm breaking it all down into these short videos so that you can stay updated each and every day with all the latest details during this very busy time, and as all this information continues to change very, very rapidly. It's my dedication to help you out in any way that I possibly can, and to make sure that you're staying updated with all of these moving parts during this very confusing time. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below the video. It's totally free to do so, and let's get right into the video. Alright, so I do want to give you an update on where we currently stand and what they are now saying about these gas vouchers that we heard about a couple days ago and what they're considering instead. This is something you certainly want to hear about because there are some key words here that we need to pay attention to, and I think is a little bit like music to our ears, I guess you could say, in a sense, right? So let's get into all the details on this. I want to share this with you, and then I'm also going to bring my wife in, Corey, here in just a minute or two, and she's going to read something to you, and I want you to pay attention to exactly what they are saying in this article, because there's some pretty interesting stuff in there. All right, so let me quickly walk you through where we currently stand as of now. So remember, about a week or so ago, I was out in a video and said, hey, they're talking about some vouchers that they want to send out on an ongoing monthly basis at a rate of $300 per month for the low income. The vouchers would work essentially as just like a same as cash type of voucher, that when you go to fill up your vehicle with gas, you basically just peel off your voucher and be like, hey, here you go. I'd like to redeem this voucher for $3 off per gallon of gas. So we're not sure if this would be like a paper type voucher or if it'd be a digital card, or how this would actually be administered as far as how it would be spent or used. But either way, they were talking about sending out vouchers, especially for the low income and those individuals that were eligible for the stimulus checks the last time that they went out. However, I do want to give you the latest details on this. So that's kind of the premise behind these voucher cards, which, quick side note, there are a couple locations around the country right now that are already doing voucher cards, but those are very isolated incidents and very isolated locations around the country. But what they were talking about as far as these voucher cards would be on a nationwide level. Anyway, so across the entire country. But I do want to give you the latest details on this because here's what I want you to listen to. So I'm going to have my wife Corey come in here in just a minute. She's going to read this article to you. And again, I want you to listen to this. If you have a couple minutes, I would highly recommend listen to the entire article because there's some key words right in there that we want to listen to. So first off, let me quickly give you just a little bit of an update on what is going on in this article. So first off, they give the latest details on these gas vouchers, what Congress is thinking about them, where they stand with them, as well as a little bit of the rebuttal behind the gas vouchers. In other words, like basically the argument from the other side saying, you know, the gas vouchers would be good on one side, and then some other people are saying, well, the gas vouchers would not be good because, you know, it may lead to more inflation. It wouldn't be a very even distribution of the payments. It wouldn't be the best way to help people out right now. But then they get into talking about, but yet stimulus checks are something else on the table. Very interesting. I love the sound of that, right? I think all of us here in this community, when we hear the words stimulus checks come on out of the mouth of anybody in Congress or any lawmakers or anybody like that, I think our ears perk up a little bit and we think, hey, wait, what did you just say? You know what I mean? So, very interesting, and I do want to share this article with you. So, with that being said, let's bring Corey in. She's going to read this to you. It's pretty quick here, only takes a couple minutes, and you can hear exactly what they say. And again, listen for those keywords there. Again, it goes back and forth a little bit, talking about gas vouchers as far as where we currently stand, what they're talking about with the gas vouchers, how it would be a good program, but yet not a good program, kind of the back and forth about it. And then ultimately, a little bit later in the article, they do talk about, but wait, stimulus checks are still on the table, which, by the way, we have heard that exactly about direct checks out of Congress as well. So this is just another one of these ideas that they are throwing around out there right now as far as how can we help people with inflation. Seems kind of weird that all of a sudden we've been dealing with this massive increased inflation for how many months now? Like a long time, many, many months now. But yet all of a sudden, randomly, gas prices go up and then they start scrambling and they say, oh, we've got to get something done for the people. I guess I'm a little bit confused. Like, we've been dealing with this inflation for a long time, and now all of a sudden gas prices are the thing that have kind of tipped Congress off to feel like, oh, we've got to do something now. Like, really? What about all the food prices? I mean, I think a lot of us can probably, slow our driving down a little bit or maybe minimize our driving a little bit, but we need to eat. Food is probably way more important than gas, if you kind of know what I mean, right? Like, food is a necessity, whereas gas is one of these things that we could reduce our consumption if we just so needed to do so. We could carpool, we could ride a bike if we needed to, we could walk. I know that's not available for everybody, and I know that's not realistic for everybody, but my point is, we can make some adjustments to our lifestyle to kind of adjust for the higher prices of gas a little bit. Whereas with food prices, there's not much we can do about that. We have to eat, at least, most of us do, right? But anyway, so I want to bring Corey in with that article right now. She's going to read it. Again, it's pretty relatively short here, but listen for those keywords about stimulus checks. And again, as I do get more information on this, of course, I'll be right back here for you, breaking it all down, helping you out in any way that I can. There's a lot going on out there. Congress is playing around with a bunch of different ideas right now. They're playing around with a bunch of proposals, all these different things. We've got to cross our fingers. Let's encourage Congress. Hey guys, keep doing it. Stay on this path. Continue with this trajectory. Continue on talking about stimulus checks and ultimately get something done, because the more that they talk about stimulus checks is a really good thing ultimately for us, provided they actually do something. But here's one more quick side note. I apologize. Corey's going to be coming in here in a second. Sorry, sometimes I get carried away, but I keep getting thoughts as I continue to talk through this, and I feel like it's important stuff we got to consider. Here's the deal. All of the other times that Congress has talked about stimulus checks, guess what? They followed through and they gave us stimulus checks. Just a quick side note there we want to take into consideration. In the last 2 years now, every time that Congress has brought up stimulus checks, they ultimately followed through and did give us stimulus checks. Just a quick side note. That's good stuff. Anyway, I'm going to have Corey come in right now. She's going to read that to you, and pay attention to what I was mentioning there as well. Stimulus checks. Anyway, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video and go back and check out any of the other 2,300 videos here on the channel. Enjoy. And Corey, take it away. It's all you, and I'll catch you again later in the next video. All right, Corey, take it away. See ya.
White House considered sending Americans gas cards by Sophia Kai. The White House considered giving Americans gas cards to help offset high prices, but faced strong opposition from congressional committees, which questions the plan's viability and effectiveness. Why it matters. The Biden administration is feeling political pressure from high energy costs, made worse by Western sanctions against Russia, and Democrats desperately want to offer some kind of policy response. What we're watching. The White House this week considered having the IRS send gas cards to Americans, a short-lived idea that some key House Democrats vehemently opposed. The idea came up as part of a broader package to address gas prices, which is still in its early stages, a senior Democratic aide told Axios. A House Democratic Council on Wednesday laid out for the White House a list of reasons why gas cards would be a bad idea, including it would be expensive and poorly targeted, it could worsen inflation and wouldn't do much to lower costs, delivering the cards would be a slow process that could bog down the IRS in the middle of filing season, potentially delaying people's tax returns. And what they're saying. There's a variety of ideas being discussed to ensure that the costs American families are feeling at the pump are as minimal as possible, White House spokesperson Vedant Patel told Axios. However, gas cards being sent to the American people is not seriously under consideration. It is not an administratively feasible solution, and the Biden administration is not considering this as a serious option to help American families. The big picture. Democrats in both chambers have been brainstorming ideas on legislation to lower gas prices after they reached record high levels last week. Other ideas being discussed include stimulus checks, using more ethanol to lower the demand for oil, and canceling oil companies' federal leases that aren't actively being used. Various Democrats have also already introduced bills that would suspend the federal gas tax, raise taxes on oil companies to fund means-tested assistance, or provide a federal rebate whenever gas prices get above $4 per gallon. The bottom line is that Federal Chair Jerome Powell forecasts high inflations through the middle of the year, so gas prices will remain an issue in midterm campaigns.